All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to begin by giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopefully elect. All right, so the title of this video will be Justified by Faith or the Law. All right, so it's more so a question than a title. But the short answer is it's, of course, by faith, right? And another short answer, before getting deeper into it, is that does that mean that the law is now void? And that answer is also no, right? So just going, I'm gonna three quick scriptures just to go into it. All right, we'll start at Galatians 2 and 16, and it reads, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, right? Because again, it's impossible to follow the law to a complete T perfectly, right? It's impossible to do. Why? Because we're in these everlasting chains, right? These fleshly bodies, right? It talks about that in the book of Jude. These are everlasting chains, right? These are the spirit is indeed willing, of course, because it's the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, right? But the flesh is weak, right? So a man, the Lord, meaning Yahweh, right? He deals in balances, right? He's a just power. So with that being said, him knowing that we are in these fleshly bodies, it is impossible to follow the law perfectly, which is the whole purpose of Yahweh Shah, and Yahweh Shah being that sacrificial lamb, right? That's that grace that we'll get into it a little bit later, right? But continuing on, and it talks about it here too, right? But continuing on, it says, but by the faith of Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, even we have believed in Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, which is the true name of the Son, right? Yahweh is the true name of the Father, right? It says that we might be justified by the faith of Yahweh Shah, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be punished. But if, Salakia, while we seek to be justified by Yahweh Shah, we ourselves are also found sinners. Is therefore the anointed the minister of sin? Most High forbid. For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. For though through the law I through the law am dead to the law, that I might live unto the Most High, right? So we are dead to the law, right? Because of the sacrifice that Yahweh Shah gave, right? Continuing on, it says, I am let me slow down. I am crucified with the anointed. Nevertheless, I live. Not yet I, but Yahweh Shah liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of the Most High, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not frustrate the grace of the Most High, for if righteousness come by the law, then Yahweh Shah is dead in vain. So again, like I said, that was the whole purpose. That's that grace, right? Because if we are righteous through the law, if we are made white through the law, then Yahweh Shah's death has no purpose, right? It diminishes the sacrifice that Yahweh Shah gave, right, which was his life. It diminishes that. It makes it, like I said, vain, right? So of course we know we are not, you can't work your way into the kingdom. It's not gonna happen, right? We do the works because, I mean, that's just the spirit that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has put us in, right? He's put us in the spirit to want to do the works, although we know we're not justified by the works, right? But on that note, because don't get it twisted, you have to have works, right? So this is James 2:17, straight to the point. It says, even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Yeah, a man may say, thou hast faith, and not have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. Right? So that's the spirit to be in, right? You show your faith by your works, right? You're gonna do the correct things, right? Or like the scriptures say, I kind of softly quote it, right? You shall know them by the fruits of their labor, right? That's how you know, if that's a bad tree or a good tree. Why? Because a good tree is not going to bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. So the works that you do is going to show what type of person you are, right? What kind of person of Israel are you, right? Are you a Jake? Are you a 2/3? Or are you, of the hopefully elect, right? So let's go to Ephesians. All right, this is I'll just read Ephesians 2:8. It says, for by grace ye are saved through faith. Salakia. Let me start from the top. Ephesians 2:8. It says, for by grace ye are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of the Most High. Again, we only do this because we have the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That is a gift. He gave us his spirit. Just as easily, he could take it away. That's why the scriptures say, in the book of Psalms, it's a prayer that David prayed, cast me not from thy presence, and take not thy spirit away from me, roughly paraphrasing, right? Because it's all according to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. He can take his spirit from you and cause you to be reprobate, pursuing the Romans 1:28. He can give you over to a reprobate mind, doing, to do those things which are not convenient. He could do that just as quickly as you woke up and came into this truth and realized, who you were, what's your heritage, where you come from, the true names of the Father, so on and so forth. Just as quick as that may have happened, and as fire as you was when you first came into this truth, it could be the complete opposite. You can become desperately wicked, right? So starting from the top again, Ephesians 2:8, for by grace ye are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of the Most High, not of works, lest any man should boast. So again, that further proves that point. You cannot work your way into the kingdom. You can't do it. We're just doing what? Rehearsing the righteous acts, right? As it commands us to do. I think it's in the book of Judges. Right? We're rehearsing the righteous acts. So again, to further prove that although I say all these things, that does not give you the excuse, once again, to make void of the works, meaning the law. That's not how that works. You can't make void the law. You can't say the law is now done away with. No. Right? Yahushua said what? Think not that I'm come to destroy it, but what? To fulfill it. Meaning to what? To do it perfectly. Right? What did he save us from? What did Yahushua say? Did he save us from the law or from the penalty of it? Right? So if he saved us from the penalty, from immediate death, because that's what we deserve, being sinners, being fleshly sinners as we are, right? We deserve death. But through the grace of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he gave us a gateway. That gateway being who? Yahushua. And there's no other way. Right? Proving that point, there is no other way. Right, Yahushua himself tells you, I think it's in the book of John, if I'm not mistaken. This is John 2 or John 10. And I start at 1, right? Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but cometh up some other way, is the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep, right? So you have to enter through Yahushua, right? Because, verse 7, jump down. Then Yahushua said unto them again, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. He is that door. That's the only way you can get up. That's the only way you can get through to the Father. He's the mediator. He's the ultimate mediator. And that's it. There's no workaround. There's no, these other beliefs, something like Ephod, that belief, they pray to angels, or they pray to like a priest, and then the priest goes to the angels. And, I think that's also in Catholicism. Like, they have to pray to a priest, and then the priest offers up prayers. No. You have to go through Yahushua. So again, getting back to the point of the law, and we'll close it here because it's just one verse, and it's just, it's pretty clear cut. Well, we'll read a couple of them to get the whole thing. We'll start at 21 and just read on down. So this is Romans 3 and 21. You see the title of it, Justification by Faith, right? It says, but now the righteousness of the Most High without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of the Most High, which is by faith of Hamashiach Yahushua, unto all, and upon all them that believe. For there is no difference, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of the Most High, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Yahushua HaMashiach, whom the Most High have set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remissions of sins that are past through the forbearance of the Most High. To declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just, and the justifier of him which believeth in Yahushua. Where is boasting then? It is excluded by what law? Of works? Nay, but by the law of what? Faith. Therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Of course, right? Because again, the scriptures tell you what? If you sin in one way, then you have broken all of them. You've broken every law. If you break one law, you've broken them all. So it's impossible to be justified by your works. It's impossible. Right? So again, verse 28, therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. 29, is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also. And of course, we know these Gentiles were Israelite foreigners, right? Seeing it is one power which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith, do we then make void the law through faith? Most High forbid, power forbid, God forbid. Yeah, we establish the law. The law does not go away. You have to establish it. Why? Because it's just the way of life. It's the way we live. We as Israelites, these are the instructions on how we live. Are we perfect beings? Of course not, because we're in these fleshly bodies. but these are the instructions on how to work your way toward perfection. You still strive for it, right? You still have to strive for it. That's that doctrine of the Nicolaitans, right? They felt like they could just do whatever with no holds barred. And that's the problem with Christianity. You can just do whatever laws you want to break, you can break them. They try to, and the thing with Christianity is really so, and I don't even, I meant to end it right there. I don't mean to go on a rant, but the thing with Christianity is so backwards because they pick and choose which laws are okay and which ones are not. As in, they say, some Christians believe you can still get tattoos. Some Christians, really most all Christians, believe that you can still eat whatever you may. Other ones, they don't even acknowledge the Sabbath, right? They follow after, or they take part in traditions of men, all of these things, right? But then when it comes to, what they call to be adultery, which is not, right? But when you get on topics like that, now it's a problem. Now they have, because they've made up their own. And since I said that, I should probably explain, because we know that true adultery is when a man sleeps with another man's wife. It's not adultery if that woman does not belong to anybody. But let them tell you, it is. Right? So, again, these are just, they pick and choose. They pick and choose. It doesn't make sense. But before I go too far into the rant, I'll end it right there. Lord willing, this was edifying. Gonna end by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the hopefully lit.